Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smithbrook, Illinois.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Well, I hit the wrong button there. I was trying to hit the mayor stinger there. Well, here, we'll just...
Divine Intervention at AM 1400 with Mayor Matt Bemrick.
Boss, that man, top dog, big cheese, a head honcho.
Call now, 515-955-1400.
Yeah, I'm the mayor of Manville, which is kind of a narrower population base than Mayor Bemrick.
It's just you and me, pretty much. Only during this 1 hour.
Only during this 1 hour. Well, it's better than nothing. We're doing better, at least I am. Because you get to be mayor all the time. I don't know how you've done it, but you have done it. Are you going to run for re-election?
Not ready to say yet.
Is it next year?
No, it's this fall.
This fall?
21. Fall of 21.
You're just going to be a tease?
I'm just going to tease you.
Well, I'm sure that Councilman Alstott would, step in. And
I don't know. There could be many people that might want to do it.
Hey, I asked Furyk this the other day, and I didn't get the answer I wanted. Can we impeach Alstott and Fritz or not?
I don't know if there's a method. I would imagine
they've hurt my feelings, and I think, I suppose.
I don't know. Yeah. I would imagine there's a method to remove me or any seated elected official through a recall or some type or something.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I've never looked into it.
Well, it's never been a need that I know of.
I remember way back in the day people saying, "Oh, we got to recall vote that guy." I don't even know how that happens. I suppose you got to get a petition, put it on a ballot. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Couldn't tell you.
Remember Bill Doan, of course.
I definitely remember Bill Doan.
Bill ran for mayor 1 year.
He was not a big fan of. He did not like me.
He didn't like any mayors. He didn't like Lutz before you, believe me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he really went after him.
Well, I had him on the radio one time, and he started raging about Lutz, and I never had him on again.
Yeah.
I thought, well, he's colorful,
He was colorful. He would get really upset, and beyond visibly shaking.
Oh yeah,
upset.
Yeah. He was an emotional guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had him on that one time with Lutz, and he started implying.
I never really knew him as a person, so I couldn't speak to him as an individual. I only knew him by crossing paths with him a couple of times, being on the opposite side of almost everything I was ever on one side of. He seemed to be on the opposite side of.
Yeah, well, he was kind of contrarian.
He did seem to almost argue for the sake of arguing.
Yeah, well, he wasn't married. He had to have something to do.
Yeah, I
don't know. Gosh, what was I going to say about him? Oh, gosh, I don't know. There's so many things you could say. I had a copy of his book, Book of Days, that I don't know what I did with. But
didn't know he wrote a book.
Yeah, it was about the history of Fort Dodge. And, it was kind of his own unique interpretation. It was decent, I thought. I think it's out of print now.
I would imagine. It was probably a single run print.
Oh, yeah, and it's been quite a long time ago, 20, 25 years ago, maybe.
Oh, yeah. The library probably would have a copy.
I would think that they would.
They keep a lot of historical copies. They have some neat books about architecture in Fort Dodge. Shows all the old homes, tells some history about the homes, when they were built, who built them, different things about how neighborhoods developed, things like that. Really? They do.
Yeah, well, I got here just in time to see some of the old ethnic neighborhoods, like
Sweet Town.
Sweet Town. That's one of the first places I lived, was Sweet Town.
Okay.
And there was a little Italian area
over by Holy Rosary.
And everybody over by Holy Rosary, because that's how they started the spaghetti dinner over there, and the Italian food dinner. Those little Italian ladies, and I used to go all the time, and I still would, I guess. But man, they put together some great dishes.
There was a lot of Irish around Sacred Heart area.
Yeah, and I think there were a lot up in Bobtown too.
Mm-hmm.
That was.
Have you ever heard the story of how Bobtown got its name?
No.
I don't know. This could be urban legend also, but supposedly before there was ever a bridge that crossed the river there was a ferry, or like a flat cart that they used a rope to drag, or horses or whatever to drag it across back
Yeah.
and forth. And the guy who owned the ferry and ran and operated, his name was Bob. So when people would say, "Where are you going?" They'd say, "I'm heading over to Bobtown."
Going over
because
to Bobtown.
Bob took you there. I don't know if it's true. I mean, somebody out there probably does, but that's the story I've been told. The guy named Bob that took you across on
Took you across the river.
on the ferry is they named it Bobtown after
You
him.
know, some people talk about the good old days. That wasn't such a good old day.
That would have been
I
a real
just
pain in
get
the
the
butt
car
to
and
go
drive over the bridge. You know?
That would have been a pain to use a ferry to go from one side of the river to the other.
Yeah, I
And
took
it
a
wasn't
job.
like a ferry like we think of as a modern ferry. I mean, it was a flat raft that you wheeled your horse and buggy or your
Mhm.
horse, and you rode across the river on it.
I took a job with a cement company or a masonry company. You know, they poured flats and garage floors, and
Sure.
there was a lot there, a lot of block basements. I still remember heaving those blocks into the wall, big 12-inch suckers, but 68 pounds a piece all day. But fortunately, I was young. But anyway, the older masons used to tell stories about building a building like, say, the Carver building.
Sure.
And what masons had to do at that time. You know, they'd have somebody down on the ground making the mud or the
There's still a few very talented people around that do true and real masonry work, and but a lot of it, I mean, when you drive up on a building nowadays, a lot of times that's all panel built,
Yeah.
factory manufactured stone. It doesn't require the skill sets that some of those buildings required.
yeah, the old school buildings, the old courthouses, sometimes not
Yeah.
necessarily here.
No, I mean, you have real masons still around that do that kind of work, but there's not nearly the number of masons that would have been around back when they were building buildings like the Carver or the Boston Center.
Yeah, they had
Things
to
like
they had to heave all the materials up by hand. By that I mean
oh yeah,
they'd have a couple of big strong guys
big
on the ground.
pulleys and
Yeah, big pulleys, and they'd
Yeah.
go up a couple of stories by manpower.
there's some really cool old pictures of downtown when they were building some of those buildings, and you'd see like carts, big rope going up and around a pulley, and then the rope coming all the way back down to the ground, and a horse pulling that cart
Yeah,
up the
That's right. They do a lot of horse work. Even well, my dad used to talk about farming with horses and stuff, and some of those older fellas, they'd be 100 years ago. I'm one of the older fellas now. Yeah, I remember when we had records. When I was first a DJ, we had something called vinyl records.
vinyl records have made a comeback, kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
you go into stores, you see vinyl records.
That's some kind of baby
online
boom
quite a bit.
nostalgia crap. as
Yeah,
far as
I
I'm
think it
concerned.
probably is like a nostalgia thing.
I never got
My
caught up. In it.
Parents had a pretty good record collection. I don't know if they still have it, and then Michelle's mom and dad, they have a very, very large record collection that they've kept. I mean, they've got Beatles albums and the Who and you name it, they got it.
I had a big record collection too, big album collection. I gave it all away.
Did you?
About 5
Some of
years.
them are worth some serious money. If
Well, I was going to say about
have
5 or 10 years later.
the
then
original
it's-
jacket, and then
Yeah, I had the
there was
original jacket and
paper
everything.
inside the jacket,
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
You know, and I went the same way with baseball cards. I heaved a lot of my baseball cards up, Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams and guys like that. And as soon as I did that, of course, there was a big baby boom nostalgia market for baseball cards again.
Baseball cards. I have a ton of baseball cards, and they just have not. During the 80s and 90s, there was baseball cards that were going for $5,000-$7,000. They might be
Mhm.
worth $500 now.
Yeah. Well, that would have been maybe
Unless you
the-
have like a really, really rare, like a Mantle rookie, and somebody really wants that. I mean, there was some serious money out there in baseball cards, and there was a lot of us that were buying and collecting and paying, $150, $200 for a card, and those things might be worth $10-$12 now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Out at the mall, they used
Remember
to
the
have card
big
shows.
card
every now
shows?
and then,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow,
Did you?
huge
It's funny you
card
should
shows.
mention the Mantle rookie card. I read in the paper just the other day that's a Mantle rookie card in great condition went for $5.7 million.
Really?
Whoa!
Are you kidding me?
That had to be some sort of. Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's what I
A
thought.
rookie card.
You know, I have a Mantle card that I got when I was a kid, 1961,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's been damaged, water damage in the right corner. But I'm not selling it. I mean, maybe I could sell it
Wow.
for a little bit of money. I don't know.
The current record for the most money paid for a baseball card is $3.12 million for a T206 Hornus Wagner,
Honest? Yeah.
but a Mantle cards obtained in mint condition. They're not really telling me what a Mantle's worth.
Well, this was a Mantle rookie card, 1951, and yeah, I'm sure it went for millions of dollars.
Oh, this article says there's a Mickey Mantle rookie that is going to be auctioned in Texas, and the auction house says it could go in upwards of $3.5 million. It is in perfect condition.
Wow. Well, that's still serious money to have something in your. I mean, you have to have some serious money.
It's considered mint grade.
That's a 70-year-old card. That's not just yesterday. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. AM 1400.
1952 Topps Mickey Mantle.
I used to have a lot of Mickey Mantle cards. And Sandy Koufax, Orlando Cepeda, and all the great pitchers.
I have a ton of Ozzie Smith cards, rookies. I probably have almost every year he played.
I have a couple of Ricky Hendersons. He was a great player.
I do too, actually.
I have a Nolan Ryan. Of course,
A bunch of Nolan Ryans, but they're not rookie ones. They're more 80s and cards.
I saw Nolan Ryan pitch. I have seen two of the greatest pitchers of my generation ever pitch live, and I'm glad I did. One was Nolan Ryan when he was with the California Angels. And I looked at the program. I think I've told the story on the air before. I looked at the program, and they were playing the Texas Rangers, which were a new team then. And one of the players was from Pocahontas, Iowa, and that was Larry Bittner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they have a Larry Bittner field up there.
Yep.
And a lot of people in Pocahontas know. I think Bittner comes back there.
Wasn't Ploutz buddies with Bittner?
I think he was. A lot of people in Pocahontas knew him or were related to him.
Friends with him.
Yeah, all those things. And I got to see Roger Clemens when he was with the Red Sox, played up at the Dome in Minneapolis. Clemens was a beast. I mean, that man must have had shoulders 6 feet wide, and he would throw like Ryan, he would throw that ball like a bullet. Just a blur. I don't know how those.
I got to watch McGuire hit a home run. It wasn't the big one that broke the record, but I got to watch him hit one of the however many he hit that year. It was earlier in the season. It was like his 26th or something.
Yeah. I saw him with the Oakland A's hit a home run. Kirby Puckett hit a home run. Canseco hit one. I think Kirby Puckett hit 2 that day. And I took my son in 1998 during the big home run chase down in St. Louis. And Mark McGuire had hit 59 the day before. And first trip to the plate, McGuire hits a smash, and it's headed out of the park, it seems, But it went foul.
It curved.
And then he was 0 for 5. He got up 5 times.
Man.
And, the next day he got the 60th. My son was so disappointed. I was disappointed as well.
Oh, yeah. You could have been there for the moment.
We drove around St.
Tune
Louis.
in next week while we talk about our childhood bath habits. I mean, good Lord, man. We were way off topic.
All right.
What should we talk about?
Warden Plaza. Give me some good news.
Well, I don't have any good news on the Warden.
All right. Well, let's go
There's
back to
really
baseball
no
cards,
news
then.
on the Warden, to be honest with you.
No. There's been a lawsuit filed. Are we going to
believe so,
shove it
yeah.
up their nose or what?
Well, we'll turn it over to our legal counsel and let them do their job.
City attorney handle that, or
He will.
who's the city attorney? Andy Fritz?
Mark Crimmins.
Mark Crimmins, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know Mark.
You do.
He denies no.
He's a good city attorney.
Yeah.
He's been a very good asset for our community.
Couldn't
as
agree
our
with you
city
more.
attorney.
He has an older brother that's a great asset to the community as
Kevin?
well. Yeah, Kev Dog.
Is Kevin's older than Mark?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
One of the boys died, as I recall, and
I believe you are
and
correct. Yes.
I think David's the oldest, and then
Denny.
David's the oldest, and Denny, and then Kev Dog. I think. I don't know. I'm talking like I know them very, very well, and I do know who they are, but it's not like I go over to their house or anything.
Yeah.
I don't.
The Crimmins family has been around for a long time, done a lot of good things in our community.
Yeah, really. And of course, Stookie is their sister. I can't.
Yeah, Karen.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Karen would have graduated with my parents.
Would she?
Yeah,
And your
I
parents
believe so.
graduated what year? 73?
73.
Yeah, we're back here in the early days
Yep.
now.
Now we're getting we're back to being off topic.
The Christopher and Banks has gone bankrupt. The store will leave the Crossroads Mall, but it's not the city of Fort Dodge's fault because they're all going out of business.
Yeah, that's not, we could just talk retail in general. I mean, it's really, really strange. the retail world is just weird. I mean, you talk pre-COVID, it was already adapting to a changing environment of Amazon and online shopping. And, we're kind of midst or getting close, hopefully, to the end of COVID and this pandemic. Hopefully this will happen sometime this year. And it's still changing from just a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, right about now, I was in Chicago at the National Mall Show talking to retailers, and they were coming up to us to talk to us about potential redevelopment of the mall or changes of the mall and all those things. And now, I mean, we're calling people, and you get one business that's saying, yeah, we're doing great, and yeah, we're looking at space, and we're interested. And then you talk to another one, and they're like, well, everything's on hold. We're not signing any leases right now. We're still weathering COVID. We're trying to figure out what's going on. And
Well, how many businesses are going to say that their business sucks, or it must be our poor service and product? I mean,
well, because I believe the developer we've been working with had been talking to Christopher Banks, even in the last month or so, and continuing to talk about which space or which what lease would you be willing to, kind of lease rates are you looking at, things like that. And then boom, it sounds like early indications were in December when they were seeking some in the article that I sent you kind of points out, they were seeking some kind of short-term operating note to get through the holiday season or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to see him go, although I didn't go to Christopher Banks.
And the weird thing is the stock market's still rocking and rolling. But it depends what you're investing in, I suppose.
Did Trump do that, or was it Obama, or is it the anticipation
the stock market? Who knows?
Of the Biden presidency, they're all warmed up.
I don't know.
Say,
the stock market's been all over the place.
Our world is going to be saved next Thursday.
It will?
A week from today.
Oh.
Joe Biden's going to be inaugurated, and the Trump cloud will be lifted, and birds will chirp, and rainbows will be in the sky. And
the people at home can't see your arms in the air like that.
I know, but I'm gesticulating, Matt. I have to do this to make my point. Look, you should look at good salesmen and good Paul Harvey.
I talk with my hands. I'm a hand talker.
I know. But Paul Harvey, you should have seen it somewhere on YouTube. It says Paul Harvey's warm-up routine. You wouldn't believe it. He'd get to he'd have a 12 o'clock or 12:30 broadcast time, and he'd be in the studio at 7:30 or 8 practicing. And he did it to the end of his life.
Well, he delivered very well.
Great storyteller.
Unique voice that was so definitively Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even need to introduce himself.
No.
You just knew who it was when you heard that voice.
Him and Rush Limbaugh. Now, there were two completely...
See, I've never really listened to Rush much.
But you know his voice.
I know his voice, yeah. I would
immediately.
know his voice. Yeah.
But two completely different personalities. I listened to Paul Harvey starting when I was a young man, and we still had him on this radio station when I started.
Well, yeah. I mean, growing up in the construction business at noon, when you'd go to dinner break, you'd get in the trucks or the vans and you turn on the radio and Paul Harvey was on.
Yeah, he was on a couple.
That's what you listen to every day at noon. Is if you jumped in a guy's truck, about every one of them would pop on Paul Harvey.
And people who say you guys just talk, you might know that nobody has replaced Paul Harvey because he was irreplaceable. They tried a couple of different people.
Yeah, even like when he was taking breaks and different things, didn't his son or somebody try to do it for a while?
His son, Paul Jr., yeah, but he was just, frankly, and I don't know
then
who
there was
could have ever
another
taken.
guy.
His son did, and frankly, he wasn't nearly what his father was. Of course, who was? I mean, we're just talking.
Paul Harvey,
you couldn't replace him.
Yeah.
Yeah, his son.
Kind of like Cronkite. When Cronkite, he's the guy that everybody looks at as he was a genuine reporter, and you felt that if he told you something, you were getting the truth in the report. Yeah, whether he agreed with it or not, his job was to tell you the news.
Yeah, and here we have old Uncle Walter replaced by Dan Rather Reports. And he's glaring at you like he's going to come out of the screen, beat the hell out of you if you don't pay attention.
I grew up on
Dan Rather Reports.
Tom Brokaw.
Brokaw.
I loved Tom Brokaw.
Well, I changed to Brokaw because I got tired of those eyes of Dan Rather's boring me in the chest. I'm going to go over.
You thought there was lasers going.
I thought there was just. I mean, he's just CBS News, the Dan Rather CBS News report. I mean, he was even before CBS News. Dan Rather CBS report. Jesus, back off, man. Just tell me what happened, okay? There's old Brokaw over there on NBC,
Yeah, Brokaw,
swallowing his
yeah.
words,
Yeah.
But he was.
But I like Tom Brokaw.
He was my guy. I've
Yeah.
stayed with NBC.
Yeah, I
Lester
did too.
Holt,
I still listen to it. Typically, when I go home, I turn on the news and I watch NBC News at night. And then you make dinner and you watch The Wheel of Fortune.
God, Pat Sajak must be 95 years old.
Oh, man.
I know he's in his 70s, but really, Wheel of Fortune, you're that dedicated to the game. All right. Anyway, Matt Breming has been our guest. Next time,
We'll try to have a program.
next time we'll just get a pizza from Amigos, a couple of drinks, and we'll continue in this vein. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Matt.
You bet.
Be careful out there tonight and tomorrow. It's gonna be
Yes,
nasty.
definitely be careful.
For exciting Panther sports, keep it right here on your home for University of Northern Iowa sports in North Central Iowa.